Yes, and we're recording.
It's 3 o'clock. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Looking for approval for the agenda.
So, second.
Ginger and Conrad. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. None of us. Okay, how about an approval for the April 25th meeting, meeting minutes?
Well, come on, let me get one in there.
Just-
Second it.
You gotta be quick around here, Jim. Okay, any discussion at all? Okay, all in favor? Aye, all right. Public comment. I see we have 2 members from the community.
This song.
So for the sake of the recording, you have to introduce yourself
Okay,
and tell us where you're from.
Jim Erdman, 2492 Hickory Lane, town of Oshkosh, also chair of the town board.
Thank you.
And your next item here is what we want to speak to. Do we wait to
No.
comment then, or is comment now?
Now, mhm.
Comment now? Okay, yeah, but there's to discuss about purchasing that 6-acre parcel, remnant parcel from DOT on adjacent to the Waiwash Trail.
Right,
Town of Oshkosh was municipalities have first chance at buying remnant parcels. And when this came up, we did not want to compete against Winnebago County, so we said we didn't want to bid at that time because Winnebago County wants it. Now, Winnebago County has looked into it here. Adam has left a message on my phone that he's recommending not purchasing this because of issues with DNR over the usability of that parcel. If the county's not gonna buy it, I wish that the county then would make a recommendation to DOT that they consider letting the town of Oshkosh buy it. And that gets sent in that way, you reply that way, because then we would buy it and we would do what we can with it or sit on it or whatever into the future, that it doesn't get sent out to the public that are for developing it or something that, ultimately what we need is, I've been at different meetings before, for 40 years I've been pushing, we need more access, all the access we can get on the east end of Lake Butamore. And here is a tiny piece that maybe something would help in the future or whatever, so the town would like to go on record that we want the county to make a recommendation that the town get the purchase. And I just played on my phone from Adam, or Adam can tell you again why the county, he's recommending the county not buy it. There's issues there with, because it's recorded as wetlands.
Okay, Adam, you wanna weigh in on this?
Yes, yep, I can just give a real quick synopsis
ahead.
about staff's recommendation. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen? I switched my screen.
No,
How about now?
no, I don't have it up on.
Oh, it says you were screen sharing.
I'll have to turn on, I don't have I'm not plugged into the,
Oh, you're not plugged into the TV. Okay. Well,
I can plug us in there though. Yeah, you can talk.
yeah, if you want to in the meantime, if you want to in the meantime, no problem. I just have a map to show. No, not a big deal. I can also describe it, but if you plug it in the meantime, that'd be great. So the is listed in the agenda. I included the entire appraisal. This is in regards to the adjacent property along Butamore Drive, along Waiwash Trail, near our existing parking lot on Westwind Road. This particular, we submitted this in September and October of last year. Went through the process. They did finish the appraisal. I don't know if you have time to read all 51 pages of the appraisal. But the highlights are on page 9, 10, and 11, where they kind of give the description of the property and some of the things, and what basically some things to point out that would be issues with the property would be, there's a spot on page 9 because it is in the zone, and a lot of property near lakes are in zoning, shoreline zoning requirements. But there's requirements, and I did not have, because this came in just about a week ago, I did not have a chance to talk to the county zoning department. But there is restrictions in regards to filling, draining, ditching, or excavating a site like this. So there would be some permitting things we would need to go through with the zoning department. Because obviously, in order to put a parking lot, it has a low area. We wouldn't be able to just put it in where it is now without major maintenance for flooding and overtopping. Also, on page 10, it talks about how it's in the floodplain, flood hazard zone. Also, the biggest thing is that it is a mapped wetland. Now, I don't know, can you see my screen now, Justin, or?
Yes, you got there now?
Okay, perfect. So what you see on here is you'll see purple and you see orange or yellow. Purple is wetland indicators. And what that means is it means that the DNR can spot that could be potentially a wetland. There's indicators of potentially wet soil from overhead mapping and LiDAR that show, yeah, that might be a wetland. The yellow actually is mapped wetlands, which is more official, that the DNR has already designated those as wetland at one point in time, probably with the DOT at one point in time since they owned it, they had to get it delineated, whether it was for, creation of the highway or whatnot. So that makes it a little bit more restrictive as Jim is referring to with the wetlands. And that's why ultimately the property is valued only at $6,600 because the opinion of the appraisal. And then my opinion is that the property is going to be developable. It is designated more for recreational land. There are other avenues, wetland point or buying wetland points for the wetland bank and those types of things, but that's going to cost the county even more funds if we go and you have to go through an alternative analysis, which means basically you have to prove that there's a need that you couldn't put the parking lot somewhere else, or you couldn't expand an existing parking lot either at West Wind or north. We have the one that goes under the highway. So it's my opinion that we wouldn't be able to develop the land how we're looking to with a gravel parking lot without either spending significant dollars or having to just look at an alternative site anyways. So at this time, it's staff recommendation not to purchase it. I do believe when I talked to the DOT representative that they did say that they had in their records, which obviously the Parks Committee could make the recommendation as well to make it more formal as well. But I do believe that in the records, they do have the town of Oshkosh as secondary in the sense of if the county says no, that then it would go to the town for their, basically the next one in line from an interest standpoint. So I believe, but obviously I'd have to call to confirm that. But that is kind of my synopsis on it. And if anyone has any questions for me.
Any questions for Adam?
No, and what's the designation north of that remnant piece checkerboarded up there?
City bunch.
This one as well, you can kind of see this, it's kind of overlapping, which I don't
Right.
quite know why but it is a mapped wetland as well. So this piece up here is also mapped, and then the purple underneath is wetland indicators. So all of
Okay.
this really is a mapped wetland.
All right.
And across the street, I know that was another DOT owned parcel. This one wasn't, obviously doesn't have as many. It is a little higher. It does have the power lines though right over the top that go right here. And obviously it's further away from what our goal was, obviously, to get it further up the trail.
I have a question, Adam. The parcel east of Lake Butamore Drive, is that also for sale? Is that any sales or is that?
I believe this is just a, let me see here.
I don't think only the 6-acre parcel was for sale. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, we only inquired on the 3.3 acre parcel, which is this one right here. We inquired on this. These ones are also DOT owned. You can kind of see, oh, sorry. I mean,
Did they retain those? Or did they put those up for sale also?
There would have to be another request essentially, just like we did with this one. It's if the DOT is willing to take up the request, it's no cost to whoever requests it or whatever municipal. Like for instance, we did not pay for the DOT to go through this process. If none of us
at this time, DOT does not have those east of Lake Butamore Drive for sale.
Correct. They would need to be basically appraised just like we did with this one, and then they would put it up for sale. So like with this one, if the county doesn't, just so everyone's aware, if the county does not purchase it and the town does not purchase it, then the DOT would put this out on the open market.
Right now, the parcels east of Lake Butamore Drive. In other words, the county and the town would have a crack at that before they went on the open market.
If we made an inquiry,
Okay.
and if the DOT was interested in proceeding with the process they did with this one,
Otherwise, they could just leave it like it is.
correct?
It
And
would be, it would not be going out in the open market for private developers then?
Correct, and it looks like there'd be some work that would have to be done from a, just even the way that the CSMs on these parcels, because they go over the road, except for this one, so I think there'd be some other work they would have to do on it, but like to re-parcel these, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Adam, when you have to log off at 3:35, is there a possibility you may log back in after you get your child off the school bus?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, he's just down the road, so I could walk down there and be back within about 5-10 minutes.
Just in case we would need you later. Okay, thank you. Okay, is it clear on all that? Any other comments from the public?
No.
No, okay, then I'm gonna call public comments closed. Going to 5. So. We're not gonna do this.
Oh, we gotta vote on that.
Well, okay. All right, so there's an offer to purchase remnant parcel adjacent to the Wild Trail in the town of Oshkosh. Anybody want to discuss this or want to, well, we'll move to put this on the, put this forward. Anybody interested in the offer to purchase?
I guess I would like to ask the town of Oshkosh a question.
Okay,
Would you prefer us to not purchase this? Because if we purchase it, we're just gonna sit on it. We're not gonna develop it for years until we, if we could have if we need in the future, a designated wetland that we were gonna build, I think if you do 1.5 times what you take, you can basically fill in this wetland.
There are lands in the town of Oshkosh for that. I think, the town Rush, that, there was a lot of wetlands created because of the 41 bridge project. And they built wetlands in Lake Butamore, and they created wetlands on Green Valley Road, north of Sunnyview, up there on the there's wetlands in there, and then the property just to the north of that town Rush owned, with the intent that those are lands there that are marginal lands that could be created to wetlands for if somebody needed to buy it, and they're within such a distance. It's something possible, very costly, but it's something possible.
But if we don't buy this, you would have to buy it. I mean,
The town
if we buy this, we're not
I
gonna do
can't
it.
speak because town boards cannot buy land. The special meeting of the electors, in fact, we got on the agenda to buy property right next to the town hall. We're gonna start a special meeting here shortly. Buy that property right next to the town hall so we can control the use of it right next to the town hall. It's the meeting of the electors. The electors decide, not the town board. So,
okay,
but I would recommend, I don't know what Bill would do here, that we have a meeting of the electors to see about buying this. That can happen shortly. We have to post it,
But you recommend,
in the paper.
you recommend buying it.
Right.
That's
Yes.
what I've heard.
Right, we would recommend to buy it.
We would recommend that the town buy it and then the electors decide that yes.
Then I would just let the county not proceed with the offer. Because if we buy it, we're just gonna sit on it. It could take 20 years before it ever gets developed.
And you've seen us at meetings before. I've been involved, like I said, for 40 years. I asked the county and the city, please get access on the east side of Butamore. Everybody's answer always, there's no money, there's no money. Well, it's really not for the town people so much as everybody else needs to get it. Town people don't live on the water. They know somebody, they get on there. Everybody else needs access. And now there's that big 500 apartments gonna go on Lake Butamore Drive. We had a lot of controversy on that, but we had nothing to say about it. 70 people in our town hall, that's gonna happen. There's, the first 2 buildings are gonna go up with 80, 60 or 80 units, 2 buildings. And that's gonna happen right on Lake Butamore Drive. Well, they're gonna have access to the Wawash, but it's gonna be their access.
how close is that building gonna be to the wetlands?
It's surrounded by wetlands. There's an island of high ground on Lake Butamore Drive. It's not too far from this site to the north.
Quarter mile.
Quarter
Not
mile.
my call, but it's still very safe.
And they're gonna have access for their people to get out of the Wawash, but I'm very doubtful that that developer is gonna provide access for the public. So, any chance we got anything that we can hang on and we'll work with DNR or whatever, here, we wanna see access in our town. What's left of it.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we request the state to give this town of Oshkosh the first chance at buying that land.
Do we have that power?
I believe we do, when that
Okay.
comes back, and we can ask them, and we're just backing away and giving the town of Oshkosh the first chance at it, and it would come back to us if they didn't buy it.
Okay, we got a motion?
I want to understand the motion. We're reneging on buying it to give the township the
We're just giving them the first
opportunity.
option,
And if they don't, we get
the next
a
option.
second shot at the apple. I'll second that. motion.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
All right, yeah, I understand. And then I was gonna ask, you said, Steve, if we were to purchase this just to sit on it for a period of time, what would be the point of that?
Well,
Why?
for future development, just like we had that land on Shangri-La, there's
Mhm.
40 acres there, we haven't done nothing with that in 15 years. But now Adam came in there and he's got a vision to put a walkway in there,
Oh, yes, he does.
so it's like, just because you own a piece of land, doesn't mean that you have the money to develop it today.
Okay,
The next property, there's a 5 acre parcel in there that's supposed to be like a nature reserve. Well, there's not saying that we wouldn't put a 3 acre wetland in there, and if we put a 3 acre wetland in there, we could basically do an 1.5 acre parking lot at Westwind. You have to do 1.5 times what you take.
okay,
So we're not gonna do it today, we don't have the money,
right,
but maybe 2, 3, 4 county boards down the road that might be a priority to them, and they
okay,
might wanna do it. And I don't even know why we'd be buying it. Every other piece of land the state always gave us. So I'd also question, like the Jerry Finch Dog Park, we didn't pay nothing for that land.
right,
It was just transferred to the Winnebago County. So I don't know what changed in the state's policy, but normally you got that land up there for that salt shed, like Quick Trip, we didn't pay nothing for that. The county sold it for $55,000, and then the state said that if you do that again, it transfers back to the state. But the 2 pieces of property that I know the county got, we didn't pay a dime for it.
okay,
So I'd be curious why all of a sudden now we have to pay $6,600 for it, not that it's a lot of money, but in the past, it was just deeded over to us. Because it was for the good of the public.
and then I was talking okay, could you mute your phone, please? I was, talking to Adam, because I'm going back like 25 years since I lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but as I recall, Michigan had really strict, you couldn't do anything with wetlands, they were completely protected. And Adam assured me that's not quite the same way as it is in Wisconsin, you can do some development if that's what your choice is, but, I hope that's correct, I don't know, I didn't check with Chad with land and water.
Well, when we did CB, there was a wetland on there and the county had to create another wetland. Because we took the wetland out where the road was. So
Okay,
I know whatever that was 12 years ago,
Yeah.
that it could be done. Because
Okay.
Winnebago County, how we did it,
all right,
we created a new wetland to replace the wetland that we took. But it has to be 1.5 times bigger than what
okay, gotcha,
so it's not an even swap.
all right.
They want more.
Now, does that answer the stuff you want to discuss, Jim? Are you feel like we've discussed the stuff you?
The motion I seconded, and I agree with that. They have a chance at it. And if they end up being in, some kind of a problem where they can't, your people say, no, we're not spending it,
Do it
then
revert
it
back
comes
to-
back to us.
Okay,
But I think you and I are on the same page, we keep it out of public hands.
Right.
Yes,
I mean, I want to buy it, but I know if we buy it, we're not gonna do nothing with it. We're gonna sit on it for a long time.
And
If
I
you
like
buy it and you
you-
can actually develop it, great. Then you can make use of it quicker than we're gonna, because we're not gonna find the money.
Can I comment? I think the county, you're a bigger bureaucracy, you gotta deal with the whole county board, many members, many committees. Town government, there's 3 of us call. 3 of us. There's a supervisor, chairman and 2 supervisors, trying to shut them out. That it's easier to get stuff done.
Yep.
And we can get that done sooner, working with our own engineers, we don't have the 38 members to get something passed, and or to say, well, if we do this, pass this, or you pass that, we don't do that, we address the issue. I think we can.
And I'd like to see
It's
it
not
done
easier to
sooner than
get
later.
stuff done in our town level than it is at the county level. And when we want to get some access out there.
And to your point,
Even,
okay, we ain't getting
even,
it free.
even the point, if I'm,
Right, I don't know.
if I can, if I'm still talking, even the point on Riff Road there, where that land was donated by Rex Stearns to the county, he donated lands to the town too. They donated 113 acres, you guys got, what, 40 there or something.
Yep.
If that had been in the town, trust me, already in between Jerry Fried decades ago and myself, would there's already been access on Beautimore over there. That the county, you got a lot more people to deal with, you got proposed up in your budget for years ahead or whatever. And it's easier to get stuff done, because we do realize we need some access on the east end of Beautimore. Summers be it on the southwest corner, but you need something on the east end of Beautimore.
My only question is.
Please direct your questions to the chair.
Okay, to,
I'm the
oh,
chair.
sorry,
Yeah, you ask me permission if you're gonna speak, because we
Yeah.
usually,
I just have,
public comments are over.
I know,
You have to ask me.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you foresee any trouble if we got this and made a parking lot, we're able to? Do you see any trouble with us getting access from the parking lot to the trail? You know, to allow people, all it would be like a culvert put in with a small walking path.
And you're talking about accessing from, on county property?
From, well, to get, if we purchase that remnant, then the purpose of this would be to allow people to get onto the Waiawash Trail by foot. To go down the trail to get onto the lake,
And you're talking about accessing onto county property.
right?
I don't see a reason why that would be, but I can't speak for how the whole county board would vote on that. But if you're just talking about walking, I mean, we're not stopping people from walking on
No.
county property. I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
But it
So-
would be giving us access from our property to your property. That's what, you know, now people just get on at designated access points. So,
I don't see, do you see a problem, Steve?
I don't think
Jim,
there'd be a problem. with it. I
Justin?
mean,
I didn't think there would.
I
be.
mean, walking across county property, unless there's some reason why we have protected it, like that area that has some artifacts. That one park where there's, we have that sort of protected, but other than, I mean, no, that's not normal.
And even that, they have walking access.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't basically
Did.
dig, but they're welcome to walk anywhere they
Yeah,
want.
okay, you're right, right.
So I don't think there'd be a problem there. I mean,
I don't call for the question.
Okay, all in favor, say,
Aye.
all opposed? Okay, that was just to call the question. Now vote on this number 5.
Oh, that's
the
why I was
original-
calling for the question is.
I know we have to vote on calling for the question. Okay, so now we're gonna vote on the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye, all right, opposed, none. All right,
Thank you. We all had the same thing with it.
Thank you.
thanks for your comments.
All right, thank
well,
you.
One thing off on that.
Yeah,
If Steve, Adam, are you on there?
Yep,
Yep.
I'm here.
Okay, say, Adam, the only question we had that Supervisor Bender brought up, and I'm kind of curious too, is how come there was a monetary value attached to this property where there hasn't been in the past?
I can't, I mean, we didn't put in a request for, for it for free. Obviously, we just went through the process. We haven't put in any sort of request. I know at the dog park, there was a plan given to the DOT that said, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna build a dog park in this area, so maybe there was a little bit more coordination and, whereas this was a little bit more rushed than we're used to. We don't have a plan drawn up for a parking lot in there, with scale and what we're putting out there, and so we don't have some of that, those plans that the dog park had. So it isn't something we usually, you go through the appraisal process and then you can always request if you would like to request to see if but then obviously they have to go back through their chain. That'll take another couple weeks, months to see if they would donate it.
Okay, so in other words, if we had an actual written plan drawn out, we could have asked to have the property free.
Potentially, I mean, really at this point, even if we got the property for free, there would still be the question mark of, now we have 3 more acres of property that we need to maintain. If there's issues out there, that's our county's responsibility to respond to it. We only have 5 staff. If it's not gonna be able to be developed, you know, in the near future, it kind of just comes down to, is it still worth it, even if it is free?
All right, I was just curious
Yeah.
on that. But it seems
Yeah.
to me that the town chair, that they're gonna try to get the property next.
Yeah.
Maybe we would inform them if they had a plan, they might get it for nothing.
Yeah, and I can't speak to why. I know 2 other projects I've worked on, it was free. So I'm not sure why they put a price. And now I will say they used a consultant for this particular project that wasn't a DOT employee. So that might be part of it too.
All right, that's all I wanted to know, just curious.
Yep.
He wanted to know too.
Right, I know when we were looking for the dog park, there was 3 parcels. We could have had all 3 of them for free, and they were all about 5 acres, and none of them were not buildable. They were nice pieces of land that were usable. One piece we were still thinking about for a small dog park. But yeah, whatever we did, in the future, I would like it where they're free. I really don't ever want to buy anything from the DOT. You know, it's
Not if you get it for free.
where it's there to serve the community, and that's what the state is there for too, is to serve the community. And as long as we're gonna use it for basically recreation or public access, I believe that they will give us the land.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And you know, the state's got to go through the formal process, so that way they know what the value of the land is, the current value, and then it's their decision whether or not then to, if they're just going to grant the county the land for free, then they know what they're essentially, the 6,600 is what they're essentially donating. You know, they would need that information either way. So this was kind of that first step, and they only gave us, in fact, I'd actually asked for extension. They only gave us until, was it dated May? Actually, it's on the document, but they said that they would give us until June or middle of June if this had to go to county board. Yeah, it was just more or less we needed to talk about it first, then we could have came back too, and we could have basically, I mean, we could have asked for it.
Yep, and I don't know if you were on when we just made a motion to let the town of Oshkosh have first dibs at it, but if they're would fall through, then we'd like the state to give us one more chance to look at it.
Yep, sounds good. I've been on this whole time. Yep, I don't have to go for another 10 minutes.
Okay,
Oh, he's got 2 more minutes, okay.
Josh also joined us a little while ago too, so.
Who did?
Josh.
Okay. All right. All right, so now we're discussing future committee days and times. As you recall, Supervisor Dowling graciously sent out a thing to everyone, and there wasn't a single 2-hour block in an entire month that everybody could meet. So we got to make a decision going forward. When are our meetings going to be? We're going to save all of Monday for Supervisor Belleville. So there's not gonna be any meeting on Monday. We will not meet, we will not schedule anything for a 1st or 3rd Tuesday of the month because we're already got either county board or every other month special orders. And now that you're not mowing lawn anymore, but you said the county might pick up your contract. Is that right, to do lawns?
No, I was just BSing you on that.
Oh, see, I've gone on record here that it's not even true. And Tuesday.
And I need Thursdays on the 4th Thursday of the month. I have parks, I'm trade off, arts and beautification with the city.
Okay,
we could go back to original time if you're not working.
That worked out fine.
what was
for
the
me.
original time? Was it Tuesday first time?
Tuesdays at 9.
Tuesdays at 9.
No, that wasn't the original, was it?
Well, the original, when you first came on, was Mondays at 1. But then Dr. Bellevue couldn't make that, so then we went Tuesdays at 9.
It's not like I'm doing anything.
And you don't golf until later.
I don't golf until like 2 o'clock.
And I was thinking there was some day of the week that Supervisor Dowling wanted to be able to leave by 3:30 or 3:45 to get to some standing appointment. And I don't know, but that wouldn't fall into that because that's early in the morning. Any thoughts for the office staff? Is Tuesday morning okay with the office staff?
Yeah, I think Tuesday mornings will be fine for us.
Are you still on, Adam?
Yep, Tuesday mornings is what we had been previously doing, so Tuesdays are perfect for us too.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion. No, this is gonna
What
be Jim,
time?
this is Jim's motion. You said 9 o'clock? You don't want to, is 9 o'clock okay?
I don't care. That's fine. I didn't know if somebody wanted to start earlier or later.
Let's go for 10, just to be
Okay.
different.
I don't care.
Make a motion, Jim, because you haven't had a chance to make a motion.
Third Tuesday or
Oh,
second Tuesday or?
yeah, it has to be either the second or the fourth Tuesday. I would say the second Tuesday. Otherwise, we don't get our meeting in before the county board on the third. So the second Tuesday of the month?
Sounds good to me at 10.
Check with Adam, because he always liked it further out,
Oh,
because you gotta get the personnel finance for anything we do.
okay.
So the
Adam,
Yeah, so how we line things up is, so the Personnel and Finance Committee is the first Thursday. So if you have the fourth Tuesday as an example, you could run into a week in which it's in 2 months, and then now you have to wait a month. So the third or the second Tuesday is probably, either one of those are gonna be pretty good. The third would be the best, but if it works best for everyone, the second Tuesday, that's just fine.
Okay, third is worse because that's the county board meeting. We're not gonna compete with the county board. That's our supervised, people don't get paid for it, so.
Second sounds good.
Second is, we're going with the second, so we're gonna make a motion for that.
Oh, I thought I did. We didn't know which Tuesday. The second Tuesday of every month at 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
I'll second that.
Who's on there?
Josh.
That's Josh.
Josh is on.
This is John. Sorry, you guys, I should have checked in bad.
Good, okay. Got it, oh, you got a second? Any discussion about that? Second Tuesday, 10 o'clock on Tuesdays? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, Josh voted. We've got a meeting date.
Hey, nice.
Oh. So our next meeting then,
Second Tuesday.
so the next meeting would be June 13th. That's the second Tuesday. It's good?
Good.
All right. Any future agenda? Oh, I will tell you, rather than going right away to future agenda items, I did check with Adam, and remember the Frisbee golf thing that the signage is going in next week. Monday, of course, is a holiday, but maybe even as early as Tuesday, weather permitting, they're gonna start installing those signs for the, is it called Frisbee golf? What is it called?
Yeah, disc golf, frisbee golf.
Okay, all right, so the signage is gonna go in, and is that about a week's worth of work, or how long does that take to get?
Kind of all depends, and the weather. I'm not quite sure how fast the guys can do that.
Okay,
It shouldn't take too long.
but weather permitting, it should be starting anyway on Tuesday, so that's good news. Because I did have some constituents who had asked about mentioned how bad it was and needed something being done, so good. Any comments from the committee? Anything y'all want to bring up?
I guess some of the new trees they planted last year, they died. So
Oh.
if they're under warranty, I would recommend that we get them replaced so that we don't have to buy them again.
Do you know if they're under warranty, Adam?
Yep, all our trees have a 1-year warranty, and we evaluate them every year. For instance, the Expo with the construction project, those are the first ones we've been evaluating because they were installed first. And then we'll be looking at all the other ones in the county park.
Okay,
And then that no parking sign by the soccer shelter, I mentioned that probably 2 or 3 times, and you can't even hardly read it. I think that we could afford to replace there's 2 of them there that are pretty bad
where is this again?
by the soccer pavilion.
Oh, okay.
that-
Are you aware of this, Adam?
Yep, Justin and I have been actually working through signs at all of our properties. So we just got some new Asylum Bay signs in for some signs that have holes in it and are rusting through, and we're working through the county park as well.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Anything from you, Jim?
Oh, I guess, because it's gonna be in the future anyways, the catwalk, boardwalk through the marsh.
Yeah.
Can we look into that one a little bit more serious in the near future?
Could that be on the next agenda, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I could bring the master plan back to the next agenda. I don't know if you guys are gonna want to do a parks tour. We could always put that on the parks tour as well. Because I don't have any more information since we presented the master plan, but it will be, we're working on it for the capital improvement plan for next year.
Okay. Yeah, I think we took a parks tour a year ago in May. Did you have one in mind? Places you want us to visit, Adam?
The only thing I could think of, because we have visited a lot of places that we already, Yeah, I was thinking about this actually this last week, because I know it's about that time if we do one. Would potentially be Shangri-La, and then honestly, if anything, just a detailed walkthrough of the park, the community park. Because we can take I mean, and it's optional, but we're doing the master plan of the park this year. So there's probably gonna be some exercises with that anyways. MSA is hopefully presenting at our next Parks Committee meeting. Might be July now. We're only 2 weeks out from our next one. But part of that process, master plan of the community park, we have aging playgrounds that some of them are past their time, where we might just start removing them even without a replacement in mind. And we just have some, maintenance items that are larger ticket maintenance items like that. That it may be good to see some of them in person and see some of the issues. But other than that, I don't have a big list of priorities or anything.
Okay,
I know in the past, we toured the buoys, we got the sheriff department to use their boats. And I think I'm the only one on the committee that actually done that. That might be something of interest either this year or next year. I mean, we spend a lot of money on buoys. If you really don't boat, you have no idea what the buoys are and what they do. So it is knowledgeable for the committee to actually see where they are and what they're actually keeping you out of. So you don't run into a rock pile in the middle of the night. But that's something you'd have to coordinate with the sheriff. And then he takes 2 of his boats and he'll take the committee out. So if it's something you'd be interested in doing this year or next year, but I think it's good to keep your committee up on that. I mean, we spend a lot of money on buoys and maintenance of buoys. They ought to know where the buoys are and what they do.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, I mean, it's a good exercise because it's funny you say that, because actually I go out with the sheriff once a year. So I went out last year and the year before. There's no way you'd see them all in one day, but what it's been great to do is, seeing the majority of them, you can really see the scale of it. For instance, up in Menasha this year, we moved 2 buoys and added another buoy due to the bridge. I mean, there's a lot of buoys out there. And like you said, unless you own a boat, you don't really know. I don't own a boat, so it's been very educational for me to go out there once a year and just. So maybe this year it makes more sense for the committee to, I can ask the sheriff if, I don't know if all 5 can fit on one of their boats or not. That would be the biggest question.
We took 2 boats last time.
Okay, but I
We
could
got
definitely
3.
talk to the sheriff's office.
okay, well, Adam and I could arrange that. He could check with the sheriff and then we can come up with some dates that might be available. Depending on how much meeting stuff we have, at least seeing the walkway through the marsh. We could do that and have a meeting probably as well, as long as the weather was okay, and arrange to see both. I don't know that we could do a buoy viewing and still have a meeting as well. That may not work as well, but Adam and I will discuss that and come up with a date to have the viewing and see about the possibility of taking looking at those walks. Okay. Anything else for a future agenda? Anything from you, Adam? He's probably going to get the kid. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah, it's about time for him to get the little one off the bus. All right, I don't have anything else to add to this. We've got I never believed we would have a meeting we'd come with the meeting date. So good, that's settled. Settled the stuff about the wetlands. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I don't wanna do that yet.
You don't want to, you're just so.
Okay, I make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, everybody discuss adjourning. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
That was a pity motion. I got something for you, Karen.
What do you have for me?
I was gonna ask
Airs?
Adam. When you see or talk to Adam again, I would like to know.
Are we
in the
turning off?
last- I don't care for 100 months.